All right, we will go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. My name is Myra Fernandez, and I am the Associate Director of Undergraduate Programs in Women in Engineering, and I'll go ahead and have my co-presenters introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Thomas. I'm the Assistant Director at the K-12 STEM Center at Viterbi.
And hello everyone, my name is Zeneb Nicholas. I am the graduate intern for the undergraduate programs in Women in Engineering. Okay, so first, again, thank you all for coming out today. We're gonna start with the icebreaker. Yes, we all love icebreakers. So I'm gonna stop sharing screen for a moment right now so I can explain the icebreaker to you all. Okay. So what this icebreaker is called Connection. Many of you probably heard of this, but if you haven't, Connection is a game where you are going to say something that you like, something that you enjoy doing, something you enjoy eating, whatever your heart desires, and someone that has something in common with you or likes the same things will say Connection, and then they'll say the same thing and then they'll go. So for example, someone saying, I like pink, I like going out to the movies, Connection, this is somebody else, Connection, I like going to the movies, and then they'll go. The only rule is that a person cannot go twice. So if you already made a connection, you cannot go again. Does anybody have any questions before we get started?
I'm guessing active participation is very much encouraged.
Yes, active participation is encouraged. Yes.
A quick question. Can we say more than one thing that we like just so it's easier for other people?
Yeah, so that's you're gonna just keep going until someone says Connection. So you'll be like, I like pencils, I like paper, I like flowers. Until someone says Connection, then you will stop and then that person will go. Great question. Anyone else? Okay, do we have any volunteers to go first? Anybody? So the first thing is the purpose of the Viterbi Impact Program. So the purpose of the program is to understand the societal impact of engineering. VIP, which is also known as Viterbi Impact Program, connects undergraduate Viterbi students with the Los Angeles communities. Participants play a vital role in bringing engineering to the community, working as a partner with local schools and organizations. So if you are a part of the Viterbi Impact Program, you are joining a community of volunteers. And also you are gaining hours of experience while doing this. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, so I'm gonna pass it to Sarah and she's gonna go into what the this is mine too. So the second part is the components, sorry. So the second part is the components. So the components of the Viterbi Impact Program. So going along with the purpose, it connects with the volunteers and services opportunities through the K-12 STEM Center, trainings and workshops on positive engagement topics such as mentorship and leadership. There's reflection sessions. There's also social events that are involved in this and mid-semester check-ins. So those are all the components of what the Viterbi Impact Program is. So now I'm gonna pass it to Sarah.
All right, thank you so much for setting it up. And it was great to hear everybody's interests and what movies people are watching right now. That was a lot of fun. So I'm just gonna go in a little bit of more detail about what the K-12 STEM Center is. First of all, to give you a little frame of reference there. So really starting with the basics, the K-12 STEM Center is a department within Viterbi on the USC campus. And so when I say K-12 STEM Center, K-12, that means that we serve kindergarten through high school students. And STEM, if you are unfamiliar with that term, stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. So what the K-12 STEM Center does is we work with students and teachers throughout the Los Angeles area, inspiring STEM students to participate in STEM majors and join STEM careers. And that's just one part of what we do. Another really important part of what we do is trying to bring equity to STEM education by leading outreach with girls and students from racial and ethnic groups that are underrepresented in STEM fields. So our website is there. You're definitely welcome to check out our website and see what kinds of things we're already doing in the community. But if you'll click the next slide, I can let you know what kinds of opportunities you'll be able to participate in should you sign up for VIP. So in the past, we have paired volunteers with different programs, and we found that to be a little confusing in the beginning. So we're trying something new. We're trying these topic pathways, these 3 topic pathways that you will indicate what your preference is and will help us pair you with the right school, the right program, the right site, so that it will match with your experiences and background, and the students will match your work with the students and teachers as well. So these 3 pathways, the first one, computer science coaching. I heard a couple of people say that they are interested in computer science. We're definitely interested in your skills and background. Computer science is a really big initiative of our center right now. So one type of thing you'd be able to participate in is virtual classroom visits to inspire students around CS. So that's something really fun and new that we're doing this year. We're really excited about. We're also trying to inspire teachers who are new to CS through fun CS activities that they can use in their classrooms with students. And we also have CS teachers who have been teaching a little while, but there's some content that they're a little fuzzy on, and they are looking for support on those CS concepts. So that's definitely another opportunity. So now moving on to the K-12 STEM activities pathway. This is going to be kindergarten through 8th, so those younger students, and really leading fun science projects and experiments with those students. And a really important part of this is serving as a positive role model to these young students as somebody who is in the STEM field. So what does it look like to be a scientist or an engineer or a computer scientist? And last, we've got our college career skills and experiences pathway. So this is going to be those older students. There's some overlap with middle and high school. And the focus here is really on following these students all the way from middle school, high school, up to college, and inspiring them to pursue STEM majors. So an example of something that you might do in this particular pathway is helping plan and support a workshop for the families of these students. So you might help put together a workshop on something like applying for financial aid and support in that workshop. So those are the 3 kind of general topic pathways. Now a little bit more about what it actually looks like to volunteer on the next slide. So last year, our volunteering was entirely virtual, and we learned a lot from that experience. And this year, we're going to be mostly virtual again, partly because this was so convenient to our teachers and our students and for our volunteers, and also partly because of COVID and safety reasons. So we will have around, in some programs, we will have opportunities that are not virtual, that are in person. But if you are only comfortable with volunteering virtually, there's definitely going to be an opportunity for you to indicate this to us. And we want to make sure we pair you with the right experience that you're going to feel comfortable with. So some examples of that in-person work might be putting together material kits for students. So it might not actually be in person in terms of going into the classroom. It might just be supporting with providing those materials to students, for example, with our K-8 STEM activities pathway. Another example might be an occasional classroom visit, depending on what you're comfortable with and what the program entails. Some examples of virtual opportunities. So I mentioned a few of these before, but you might, for example, with another volunteer, visit a classroom and talk about your experience as a student in CS. You might help facilitate a virtual activity and go into a breakout room and help supervise the students in that breakout room. Or it might be building and supporting a workshop for parents. So there's lots of different opportunities. And lots of different opportunities to reflect back on how that experience is going for you and work with your program leaders to make sure it's you're getting the experience that you also want to receive. So we want this to be exciting and worthwhile for both our K-12 students and teachers and for you. So I'll stop here for any questions specifically about what I just mentioned, the virtual or the pathways, and I can answer questions at the end again too, but I'll just pause briefly. All right, sounds like people want to hear more information. So I'll answer questions again at the end.
Thank you so much, Sarah. So next, I'm going to be talking about the components of the Viterbi Impact Program aside from volunteering. So we do have various workshops and trainings that we host throughout the semester. So we do have 2 currently lined up. We're still trying to figure out the dates and times, but at least you have an idea of when these workshops will take place. So the first one is on your STEM journey, and that's actually going to be facilitated by one of our colleagues in the K-12 STEM Center, and that will be late September. And the second one is speed sharing, and that will happen sometime in mid-November, and that will actually be facilitated by Sarah. So thank you, Sarah, for leading that speed sharing workshop. And if you have any ideas, suggestions, we're definitely open to them. So, please feel free at any point to email myself and Sarah, and we're happy to add workshops to the schedule. Next slide, please. All right, so the second component are the reflection sessions. So the monthly reflection sessions are an opportunity for students to come together and talk about your experiences, right? You all will be volunteering in different areas, right? Working with different populations. So this is a way for you all to come together to talk about those experiences. And within those reflection sessions, we will also share training videos that you can see ahead of time that will kind of lead to the, that will cause or create discussion in your future reflection session, if that makes sense. And so we have 2 reflection sessions currently on the calendar. So the first one is in October, and then the second one is in November. We will definitely give you more information as far as the times go. Next slide, please. Mid-semester check-in. So all students that are part of VIP are required to participate or sign up for a mid-semester check-in appointment. So this is an opportunity for you to connect with a K-12 STEM Center graduate student worker or staff member to talk about your experiences. Oftentimes what came from those mid-semester check-ins are honest conversations, right, about how their experience is going. So we've had students disclose that they wanted more responsibility, right? So that it was great feedback for our K-12 STEM Center to know. So it's a great kind of checkpoint, right? To see kind of where you're at and to see how the progress of your volunteer site. I do apologize for my dog's playing with her toys. So you probably hear the squeaking noise in the background. Next slide, please. All right. And last but not least, social events. We do have social events. So social events actually came from one of our post-assessment surveys. So we do, we'll assess you in the beginning and at the end of the program. And we have questions that are more specific to the program and also to your volunteer experience in site. And through that post-assessment workshop, there were students that expressed the need for social events, wanting there to be more social events. Currently, we are open for ideas. I think now that we're able to actually host events in person, maybe we can host some type of in-person social. Last spring, it was online, but we have more options this fall, which is good. So if you have any ideas for like an upcoming social event, we're still planning that out. So again, we welcome all ideas and suggestions. Next slide, please.
Okay, so the requirements. Students who wish to be a part of the Viterbi Impact Program, also known as VIP, must apply and do the following. Apply to a volunteer pathway, so that's one of the 3 pathways which were presented on the slideshow. Attend trainings and workshops. Attend the monthly reflection sessions and can be fulfilled electronically as well. Participate in the mid-semester check-in with K-12 STEM Center staff member or program leader, and complete a minimum of 16 hours of service a semester, at least 1 hour per week. So that is all that is required for you to be a part of this program.
All right, I think this is me. So after our information session today, your deadline for submitting the application to VIP is September 5th. After that, you will very shortly receive should you be accepted, you'll receive another survey that will place you in one of our pathways. So you'll be able to answer those questions about what your preferences are in terms of volunteering virtually or in person, and what are your kind of preferred activities as well. So those pathways I mentioned. After that, we will inform you what your pathway placement is and who your primary point of contact is. So who's going to actually be delivering the training that's going to help you be onboarded so that you're ready to go. And that's going to be September 14th. So we'll have an orientation after that, again, where we'll go into more detail about the kinds of things that you need to do to get started in VIP. That's going to include things like paperwork, which I know is a lot of fun, but something that we have to do for our minor safety at USC campus. Yes, Myra, paperwork. And then we are going to jump in with your first workshop and have those trainings that are going to get you onboarded so that you can get started volunteering either in late September or early October. So that's sort of what the timeline looks like. And we try to keep you updated as the process goes, so that you're not waiting for a month without hearing from us while you're waiting for that placement. So you'll be hearing from us and be updated with every step of the progress, every step of the way as you progress through this timeline.
All right, so there was a question earlier about how to apply. So we will drop the application link in the chat. It is also on our Viterbi Impact program website, so it is now live. So the deadline is Sunday, September 5th. So I will get that link and drop it in the chat now. But before we proceed, does anyone have any questions?
I see one question in the chat that I can answer while people are thinking of other questions. So the question in the chat says, when we volunteer, would we do so individually or in small groups? That's really going to depend on which pathway or which school site you're at, but almost always you're not going to be somewhere on your own. You're never going to be in a room with students on your own. You're almost always going to be, especially in the beginning, supporting a larger group of facilitators, like, for example, a lead facilitator who's leading the activity. You'll be supporting them and shadowing them if you're doing those science experiments and activities. But in some cases, you might do some individual work. For example, if you're setting up for a workshop. So maybe you're delivering a workshop for students on different careers in, let's say, computer science. So you might do some of that work on your own in your own time. So that would be sort of individual work. So it depends. but you're never going to be thrown into a situation unprepared on your own.
I have two questions. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me? I'm sorry. I'm like,
Yes.
Yes.
yeah. Okay. So my first question is, I kind of came late to this meeting. So like, where will the link to the recording be posted?
It will be posted on the Viterbi Impact Program website. So I believe I dropped that in the chat. I can drop it in the chat again. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. And also, what are the like, I know there's an application and stuff. So like, what is the selection criteria? Like what kind of stuff are you looking at?
Myra, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, so there is an essay that we look at, a short essay. So it's not long. It's only like 250 words, and your resume. So we will take a look at that. We really look at your essay. You know, if you don't have a lot of experience, that's totally fine. But we do want to know why you're interested in the Viterbi Impact Program.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Great question.
If you first apply, so I am in a computer science major, but I haven't really kind of taken classes as much. I've like had my like small experience with computer science, but it hasn't really been that deep yet, and it will be like I'll dive deeper into it in further future semesters. Therefore, like I want to do the computer science option, but it's probably not the smartest idea to do it this semester because I'm not really that experienced in it yet. Can I first sign up for one kind of group and then ask to be put, I forgot what they're called, like the sections, and then ask to be put in like the computer science one once I'm more developed in that skill?
That's a great question. So this is the first year that we've done pathways like this. So I'm answering the best that I can for now, but something I think really important to keep in mind is it's all relative. So your computer science background might be beginning at the college level, but you know a lot compared to your average elementary school teacher. They are intimidated by complex computer science and the idea of starting at something as basic as block coding. That's really how you're going to get them excited and get them wanting to introduce coding to their students. So I would recommend, if that's something that you're passionate about, it's really the passion that they're going to pick up on, and it's going to be the most meaningful for our teachers and our students. Sorry, when I say students, I mean K-12 students. For our young or high school students in some cases, but there's definitely going to be a place on our pairing survey for you to indicate your level of experience. So we definitely don't want to throw you into a situation where you don't feel prepared. For example, if you're working in an AP computer science principles class and you're a little rusty on your high school or middle school computer science background. So there'll definitely be a place for you to let us know that. In terms of actually switching pathways, I think that's something that we'll kind of handle on a case-by-case basis. If there's something that you want to let us know that you would prefer to try to change and try something else, you can definitely let us know and we'll just handle that case by case.
Okay, thank you.
I have a quick question. If we choose like the K-8 STEM activities one, and if we get chosen and are able to be a part of it, is there any like ability to choose between those grades? Like, oh, I'd like to work with these, or do you guys just choose? How is that chosen?
Yeah, that's a good question. So often in those, in that pathway, you'll be paired with an actual class of a school, which ends up being usually a class of students at that school. And the reason why we do that is because for you to have a consistent presence in the same classroom is going to build rapport with those students and is going to have more impact with those students. So we do ask what grade levels you've had experience with or would like to, you have a preference for working with. So that is something that we ask so that we are able to make more informed choices when we actually pair you with those individual schools.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right, and we're almost done with the presentation, and we'll definitely have more time at the end for questions. So, Zanab, if you can go ahead and go to the next slide. Thank you so much. You've probably heard this at our new student welcome if you're an incoming freshman and transfer student. But we really want you all to get plugged in with our Experience Viterbi app. Viterbi is the only school with an engagement app. So really, the tool is there to be your one-stop shop for any Viterbi events or activities related to academics, career, social, and wellness. And we actually have a Viterbi Impact Pack that you can complete for points. So the way that the point system works is the students that have the most points actually can win prizes. Like in the past, they have distributed like Target gift cards, Trader Joe's gift cards, Starbucks, everything that you can think of. So I just wanted to give a plug to our EVA app. But if you have any questions regarding the app, please let us know. We'll be happy to guide you with that. Next slide, please. And final slide. So I included our emails here and also our Viterbi Impact Program website. This concludes the presentation itself, but we are definitely here to answer any questions that you may have. Yes, I will drop the link in the chat.
Can I add something really quickly, Myra? I just wanted to say that it's really encouraging to see everybody here and wanting to volunteer in our community for the K-12 STEM Center. It's really exciting. I'm sure it's the same for my colleagues who are here too. And K-12 students have had a really difficult year. And I was really glad that our volunteers last year were able to provide that little glimpse into the outside world to see that everything is okay, that that things are still continuing on. And I think this year with schools starting back up again and change again, it's going to be a little bit difficult for our young students again. And for us to be able to provide that fun and encouragement, and for you to show again that there are great things happening out there, that our STEM educators are there and excited to work with them, is just really encouraging. So thank you everyone who's here. Whether or not you apply, it's really wonderful to see USC students who want to give back to the community. So thank you.
So there is a question in the chat. Can Viterbi Master students also volunteer for the Viterbi Impact Program? Currently, the program is only open to undergrads, but I know that Sarah and I have had conversations about expanding the program, but currently the way that it's set up is only for undergrads. Great question.
I had a question about the program. So I was just wondering sort of like how long this program has been going on, and like how long the relationships that you guys have with the schools and the classes have been going on.
That's a good question. Myra, do you know how long VIP has been going on? I can talk more to the relationship with the schools, but.
It's been active for like 2.5 years. Prior to that, it was inactive. So it was active for a period of time, and then it was inactive, and now it's active again and it's thriving. So I don't have the, I don't know when officially it started. But I would say that, for the past 1.5 years, or past 2.5 years, it has grown tremendously through our collaborative partnership with the K-12 STEM Center.
So you say like you have a pretty strong relationship with the schools that you work with now?
So in terms of the schools that we work with, so the K-12 STEM Center is made up of programs that have been at USC for different amounts of times. One of them, Mesa, I don't know if anyone's familiar with Mesa, that's math, engineering, science, achievement. That's actually been around at USC and in our community for around 40 years. So it's been like really active in our community and growing. So a lot of those schools have been a part of that program for, there's a Mesa student here. That's so exciting. There was one last year too. And he actually was, ended up being in Mesa, which was really fun. So for schools like that, some of those schools have been partners with us for almost that amount of time. And other programs, other schools we've been working with for almost that long. So we have programs like Mission Science that's been around for 20 years in our community, working with mostly the same schools, differing on, you know, if something comes up, for example, COVID, it might shake things up a little bit at the school, but for the most part, we've been having ongoing partnerships with these schools for a very long time.
Thank you, that sounds great.
I had another quick question. So
Yeah.
for the STEM activities pathway, or even the computer science pathway, are there set sort of activities or engagement programs that we just sort of help out with, or is there like scope for us to kind of, you know, brainstorm and create our own sort of activities?
That's a good question. And we've kind of experimented with different routes in the past. I think we found that it's most effective when we use tried and true lesson plans that we've had experience with in the past. And then oftentimes we provide opportunities to help build new lesson plans. But we find that that's quite a lot to take on, especially if this is your first time stepping into a classroom. So in the beginning, usually what it will look like is you're supporting with a lead facilitator who's leading the activities. But there's definitely room to talk with your program leader, talk with the students that you're, the lead facilitator that you're working with, and let them know what your interests are and what you're interested in doing. We've definitely had volunteers contribute to creating new lessons in the past.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for stopping by.
Hi, thank you. And I'm dropping my colleague's email in the chat if you're having issues with the EVA app.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.